Yeah.
But I'm back. This quarter, I'm going for it.
I beg you say that to the camera.
This quarter, I'm souping up. Yeah?
Come on,
I'm going for it.
OluwaJBeats.
Yes, my people, we are back with another episode of the Money Ties podcast. It's your boy Clarence K, also known as CK Talks Money, and today we have another guest, entrepreneur, political candidate apparently.
Come on.
My guy, Savage Dan.
Love my bro. Come on, man.
Thank you for coming on,
Thanks
bro.
for having me.
I appreciate you, brother, man. How's your day been, man? What's been going on?
All right, man. Woke up, did the school run, went to gym.
Yeah?
I'm inside now, man. I've been outside all summer.
Oh, you're done, yeah?
I'm done.
You're finished.
I'm done.
No more day parties, no more
That's
nothing,
it.
right?
Spent too much money, consumed too much calories. It's over now.
I hear you, bro. Nah, love for that, man. Love for that. So tell us a bit about yourself, bro. I've introduced you a bit, but tell us about you.
I think I'm just a bit of like a jack of all trades.
Okay.
I feel like I work in the industries that I enjoy and things that I've always loved. So I work in boxing, in music, podcast, audio. Got you. Presenting, that kind of just came out. No, I guess it's not presenting. I guess it's just me being me on camera. And then in football, I work with Chelsea. I do the match day lives. I do stuff with the players. So everything that I love, I'll do. I'm kind of like, I'm fortunate.
Yeah? No, that is perfect for this, boy, because this is all about people monetizing what they love doing, you know? So that's amazing to hear, bro. And just to jump into it, man, let's talk about some money.
Let's talk about it.
How important is money to you, bro?
Do you know what? It is important, man. I'll be honest, because it gives you, or certainly gives me a degree of freedom to be able to make whatever choices you want to make. You know, if I decide, if I'm stressed, I'm like, I need to be on a beach. Yeah, I can just be on a beach.
Just
kind
do
of thing.
it.
Yeah. Stuff that. Do you know what it is? I grew up broke, like everyone else. Get me? I grew up social housing, not like trenches. Yeah. But like.
But you weren't
as in like
all the way up.
As in like the kind of like one of those. Not even all the way up. Like there was no way I was going home and asking my mum for a pair of trainers, or do you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of like, get me? I come from social housing, so
had to get it your way.
I had to get it my way, make things happen, make mistakes, make right moves. I had to do it. I just kind of had to figure it out.
No, I fully hear you on that, man. And when you talk about where you're coming from, would you say that where you are coming from has impacted how you view money today? Yeah.
I think I've even got PTSD. Do you know that? I'm being serious.
Tell us about that one still.
Do you know what? Yeah, I've my whole life until now. Yeah, my credit has been bad. Pretty much the vast majority of my life. I'm only now in a place where I've got like I'm on the UK average now, and then pushing on trying to. I never realized. I think I did, but I don't think I cared about how important credit would be, because in my mind I was always going to be up.
Got you.
And I was always going to be able to buy a house without a mortgage. You know, like those kind of those kind of visions.
No matter what it takes, I'm gonna.
In my head, I was just like, all right, cool. If they can't borrow me $500,000, then I'll just have to have $500,000 kind of thing. So,
that's a sick mindset to have as well.
Yeah, but it also comes from bad decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was almost forced. I forced myself into those positions because I made stupid decisions and thought, you know what, if I get this phone bill, I don't have to pay it, and if I get this, I don't have to pay it, and when like Her Majesty gives me a problem, then I ain't got to pay it. Like I didn't really at 20 years old or whatever care enough about the long-term future. I was just more. And
that's where, let's say, that bad credit and
that's it. That's where it all stemmed from. There, last 7 years or whatever it is on your credit file. So those decisions made it so that I have a habit, and it's probably a good habit, but it's also cost me. Is like I buy cars, for example, outright.
Got you.
I've never leased or never did that. Now I have the option of doing it, but because of always having to have something outright and not almost having the option to pay for things monthly. Yeah, I just bought things outright, whether it was a phone, whether it was a car, whatever it is. Like I bought them outright, and I've always done things by like I'll blow all the money I've got on something, or whatever it is, whether it's a an asset or a liability, I'll blow everything on that and then start again. Whereas someone else I was speaking to recently, he was always like, oh, if you've got $500,000 in a bank account, why would you put a deposit down on a house of $500,000? Why not put down a deposit of $250,000?
Cash flow,
and then
man.
keep some of your money there. And in my head, I was just like, no, we've come up different. I get what you're saying, and you're probably right. But how I've got here is by going all in and then coming all out and having to do it again, kind of thing.
Go again.
So I don't like the idea of having big monthly payments.
Got you.
I hate that. I feel like it
just
puts
hella
you under
outgoings,
pressure.
direct
Yeah,
debits,
like
all this stuff.
on the first of the month, my
you.
accounts, like when I see what leaves my accounts, I'm like, how? Like I must be a full blown adult now.
Yeah.
Because like what's leaving my account is unfathomable. Like on the first. So like for me, like I always like to take the pressure off myself by throwing all my money at something. So in my head, I will put down $500,000 in a deposit, on a mortgage deposit. Rather than the 250, and because the cash flow, yes, you can reinvest it and do stuff like that with it, but I need like the security in my mind. I need to know that my mortgage isn't 2 bags, it's 1 bag. Etc.
So your thing is more so of how much you're paying for stuff over time.
Yeah,
and it's crazy you said that because that mind frame, it's good and bad for some people because if you use all you have, then let's say you have an emergency tomorrow, you're like, right, I've just burst all my money on this. But at the same time, because you've used what you have, it leaves you with that mindset of I've got to work now. I've got to go get.
Yeah.
And would you say you've always had that mindset, like always, or is that a mindset that kind of adapted when you started making money? Would you say?
No, I think I've always had it from the beginning. I remember times where like I had at the beginning of the week I would have £10, and at the end of the week I might have 10 grand.
Boy.
But then there's the next week might be the total opposite.
Yeah.
So like, I've learned to. I was always, I wouldn't say volatile. I always knew how to find money. I always knew how to find money. That was never the issue. But I think I've had to balance. You see the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
I've had to compress that so that we're always in this channel now, and it's not so volatile. Like I like nice things.
Yeah.
So because of it, I think I probably spend a bit too much on liabilities, but I try and balance it by working harder by like getting assets as well and do stuff like that.
Gonna appreciate and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes it goes wrong. You know, like for example, I bought my car outright, and then I didn't like. I was like 3 months out of warranty after a year. I didn't like renewed. I didn't do like extended warranty or anything like that. The engine out of nowhere, packed itself in, needed a whole new rebuild, I ended up getting a new engine, ended up costing over 9 grand.
Yeah.
So like out of nowhere. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the issue I wouldn't have if I leased it.
Got you. Do
you see what I'm saying?
Cash on the side.
And not even just that, because when you lease it, if an engine packs in, it's not my car essentially.
Yeah.
So I'm presuming it's not my response. It's not like I crashed it. It just happened.
Damn.
So like that has kind of swung me back into, all right, cool. What's my next move when it comes to a car? So yeah,
but
like
even that mindset of not wanting to have like direct debits and buying a car cash, is that something that is that a mindset you grew yourself, or is that like
that was never put there by my parents or by my. I figured that out. I moved out of my house, out of my mum's house at 19.
Got you.
So like, I kind of had to figure things out
for
myself. You know, all of a sudden you're having to buy toilet paper. Like,
you've never done it before. From young.
Having to buy like washing powder. You're like, how? Like, I don't even know which one to get. I don't even know if I got bio or non-bio. Like, I don't know what you don't know what to get.
Picking up the cheapest
like, you know, like literally like 1920, but living day to day. And I could go to my mum for help, of course, but like I've got this like I would rather make a mistake than ask for help, and it's like my bad, I guess, because it's like it comes before a fall, obviously, and you know, and then you get the thing where something happens, something goes wrong, and then mum will say to me, like, why didn't you just ask me? And I was like, I didn't want to ask. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it might be like a pride thing, an ego thing. But I've always wanted to stand on my own twos, and I've done it. and I've like, it's maybe one of those ones where I've come up with the correct answer in the end, but the show your workings is all over the gaff.
You've
like,
gone that way.
Yeah, I've
really,
gone that way, but I've veered back on.
I've
veered back on. So now I try and simplify things, and like I still kind of go hard and then pat it down. So like, for example, this summer I've spent way too much money and I've had way too much fun, but now like it's over. It's over. Now it's knuckle down time. Yeah, now it's knuckle down time.
I hear that.
Like, so it's still, even like that, it's all or nothing. It is like that same kind of all or nothing thing. Like, no one's going to see me for a few months now. That's it. I'm working. Yeah.
Jogging,
that's it.
I hear that still. No, I like that. And from that, let's say when you were 19. Yeah. When was the first time you started? Let's say when you think of your first experience of making money, what was that for you? Was it like a job? Like, what was it?
Nah, my first, do you know what? I always like hustled. Whether that's like good hustles or bad hustles, I always hustle. I'm talking like, this is long before 19 years old. Like,
or even before you moved out.
That's it. Long before I moved out, I was up to stuff like, whether it's like trying to get this and sell it for that price, or like I was always up to something. But it was, like, it's not eats enough to be like, and it's not consistent enough for it to be like making money. It's just I made some money today,
just to get by.
That's it. And it might last me. It might last me a day. It might last me a week. But who knows? Like, but there was no longevity in anything I was doing.
Yeah.
When I moved out of my mum's, do you know what? I was at uni, and I broke my leg. Okay. And this was the beginning of this is literally the beginning of the studios.
Got you.
I was in a car. I used to rap as well, like everyone did. It was grime them days. I had too many.
What, you're gonna drop no bars for the
Bro, I'm still the hardest. You crazy?
Hey, yo,
I'm still the hardest.
Listen, yeah.
Like in the ends, I was called Biggs from early.
Biggs,
like, every ends has one of those, and every area's got a Biggs or a Biggs, and there's always one that was me. And I broke my leg, and now all of a sudden you can't go. Them days it's like pirate radio.
Yeah.
I couldn't go radio. I was bad on crutches as well. You see, like I see some people like zipping around on crutches. Like as soon as I got my crutches, like I couldn't.
Still,
I realized I'm indoors for 4 months.
Yeah,
I'm indoors. So I'm indoors. I'm bored. There's no radio. There's no like we had a youth club that had a studio in it. You can't go like because it's too long for me to get there. So I had a laptop, and I got my friend to like super up. Put some software on it, all of that. Like you get cracked softwares and all of that. I bought like a £100 microphone, or maybe like a £70 mic, £100 interface, like the worst equipment you can get. Like speakers at £129. And I started trying to do music in my room or in my studio flat. And that was the beginning of it. And like after a while, like what you're making at the beginning sounds terrible. There was no YouTube them days to really like help with mixing. Now you can get your stuff and like you can have a half decent mix in half a day because there's so much help. That then there wasn't, like the equipment was bad. Like the advice was bad. Everything was bad. Like I had to work against every element to get it to sound okay, and it took months and months. But obviously because I was the subject and my friends, so people started like making tunes from my room.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, mixtapes start coming out from my room. Like in West London, there was some biggish mixtapes at the time that was made in my room. Damn. So it like although I wasn't charging for it because it's my friends, like their friends started, or people started to hear that I had a studio. And them days there was no studios. Like now you can Google it and there's studios
around
everywhere.
The corner.
Everywhere. Back then there was none, and the ones that there were made themselves hard to find for whatever reason. So all of a sudden now, I almost had like a bit of a client base coming to my house.
Okay.
Just to make music. And it might have only been something stupid like £80 a day worth or something like that. But it was still enough. You know what I'm saying?
19 years old when you're doing nothing else, £80 a day, why
I'm not moving,
bro?
I'm just making tunes. And I didn't realise that it was almost becoming a business.
Yeah.
And then I found out that my son was on the way. And it was like, at the time I was boxing as well. So it was like I was doing that and I was boxing. I didn't really, there was nothing else I was really doing. I was very about. I was super about. And boxing super unpromising. I don't know what happened to me. Like I think like I hurt my thumb one season.
Yeah.
And then obviously my son's on the way, and it's like a fire stopped burning for boxing in my bed. You stop going for runs, and you stop going for runs, and guess what? You're gonna start getting punched up in the gym.
Of course.
And then all of a sudden, like it just becomes a little bit of a down
break
spiral.
That flow,
and that spiral happened, I'd say, in around 4 or 5 weeks. Where like not necessarily I fell out of boxing, I fell out of love with boxing. But like the fire weren't burning at 100% like it was before.
Mad.
And like there was a time where I wanted to be a boxer. That's what I thought. If someone asked me what I'm gonna be, I would have probably said, like,
you reckon it was that injury that got you, or
no? It was the combination of that combined with, all right, cool. You have to start. You have to adult now. You get me? You got a
big man now.
Yeah, that's it. And I remember I'm from Grove. I walked at the top of Grove. There's like a road, Kensal Road. It's like I had some studios on it. I had a couple studios in it.
Yeah.
I've gone into the building. I've asked like rental prices. Basically.
Yeah.
And I managed to haggle my way down to a certain price, and I was just like, all right, cool, let's do it. I'm gonna take what I've got from your house, and I'm gonna put it somewhere real where I can now. Before, it's like obviously when you're young as well, you don't want anyone coming to your house. Areas have got issues, blah blah blah. You don't want too many people knowing where you live, all of that kind of stuff. So I was quite.
That's the first thing when you said people
careful.
were pulling up. Yeah,
so
that's the first thing I thought.
Like you have to be fully vouched for, especially at that time.
You were saying you got your brethren's bread. You're thinking, yo,
it had to be like a full blown vouch. You couldn't be any further than my brethren's brethren.
Yeah, no, literally.
That was the furthest it could be.
Word.
So it was like, it was one of those ones. I thought, all right, let's do it properly. Let's try and open it up and see what happens.
Yeah.
Opened it up. Luckily, they gave me like we had I had money, but like not a lot. I had a few grand to make this happen. And I made it happen somehow. And out of I won't say out of luck, but out of nowhere, Weston's Into got made.
Okay.
And
what age are you at this point?
Maybe 22.
22. All right, cool.
Maybe, 20, maybe 22. Maybe a bit older, 23. Yeah. Whatever it was that within like 6 weeks of the studio opening. No, it wasn't even open properly. The booth wasn't built properly.
Damn.
So we was in there just kind of chilling, vibing. That song came from just being there.
Just chilling.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That was weird. And it started like a snowball.
Yeah.
Because now look what Western are. And now look at the scene we got. Because I'm telling you, before Into, there was none of this, bro.
Damn.
I'm telling you, that was the beginning. Like that was the one where the labels thought, let's take a chance.
Yeah.
And they took a chance. They realized the chance works. And now look at everyone. Like everyone. It's crazy.
It's true still, quite loud.
So yeah, that happened. And because of that, it kind of and then obviously at the same time we had it was called Halfcast. Chucky's come in.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the first podcasts. That was one of the first podcasts of our scene. That is the first.
I can't think of
that. Is the first, man. Because that's the first podcast.
I can't think of any others still.
So those two happening together at the same time in the same summer.
Yeah.
Kind of like gave the studio a bit of prestige and maybe gave it like the boost it needed. So now it's like become out of nowhere the reputable studio.
Yeah.
And there wasn't much competition. Now you look around, there's a studio everywhere, man. But
every industrial state.
At the time there was no one. No one knew what that was. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, because of that was when it started to churning out some money. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, there's income coming in.
Yeah. And would you say that was that a passion for you? I know you said that you were at home, couldn't do nothing, bought the cheap speakers, bought the cheap mic. Was that a passion thing initially?
Yeah, it was full blown passion.
So you weren't thinking I'm gonna make money from this event?
That weren't for anyone but me and my friends at first.
Got you.
And then once it became it after a while, I wanted to learn it.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn how to mix. And I wanted to learn how to mix my own voice. It wasn't for anyone else at first.
So your music could
That's
be
it,
talk to it.
So really it kind of happened.
Yeah.
It grew into a business by accident, but it was a passion, of course. Same way working in boxing now, it was a passion. I was paying subs to go and box. Damn. I was paying subs to and paying fines to play football. I work in things that I just ended up working in all the things that I was doing already.
So it's like you already love it, but you're just getting
that's it
money to do it.
That's it.
That's the difference.
That's it.
No, that's ledge, man. And this studio that we're talking about that first opened, was that called Jukebox as well?
It was, yeah, Jukebox.
In case you guys haven't noticed, this is Jukebox. So we are in Jukebox rooms, now. Yeah. I would give you a lot of tour, but it's my time. So this is Jukebox. So in starting Jukebox, what was your biggest challenge, man? What was your biggest challenge, would you say?
Cash flow.
Got you.
Cash flow. I ran out of money, and it got worse. Like as studios, this is the one we're in now, or the one the ones we're in now. This is the 4th studio.
Got you.
The first difficulty was getting getting things when you've got I was on a shoestring-ish budget, considering what I needed to do. Yeah. Because the room needed a lot of work. I needed to undo a lot of the mistakes in that room, and then you've got to make it sound good enough.
So it wasn't even ready.
It wasn't.
You just walked in.
Ready. That was 3 months. That took me 3 months to get ready.
Damn.
Luckily they gave me 3 months rent relief. Yeah. So I didn't have to pay for the time, but I still had to go there every day, take stuff off of. It was like a classroom.
And this is all you, no team, no builders in there.
I started this, and it was me, just one up. Yeah. Then my brethren H got involved, and he was just like, all right, cool. Like, he heard I was opening the studio. By this time, contract signed. I'm already in the thing. Yeah. I just need it to be done. I'm like, yeah, all right, cool, let's do it. Like, you get me? Like,
you're committed now.
That's it. So we're in. Like, let's do it. So it took a couple months to get it rolling. And the agreement was just like, you have your clients, you get whatever clients you can. I'll get mine. And you know, them times you advertise on Gumtree, like I'm advertising. I'm advertising, but it don't take that long to build a client base, especially when you already had it.
People catch wind of it.
And not even that, like if you, like at the time, I'll be honest, I was so cheap and so good. For like the mixes were like, nowadays you get good mixes, right? Pretty much anywhere you go, you're gonna get a decent mix. Them days it was not like that. Word. So this is one of the most solid mixes you're gonna get at this price, easily, bang for buck. Like it was crazy. So when people are hearing songs, they're like, "Oh, where do you make that?" And then it's like the word of mouth.
It's over there,
almost made it fly quicker.
Got you.
But the biggest challenge was that initial startup cost and making sure, because I didn't have enough money to not start to not break even for 3 months.
Is it a thing where it was unexpected not to have the money, or is it a thing where you thought, right, this is what I have, it's gonna work, and it just didn't go to plan?
No, it went to plan. But it was a struggle. But everything went to plan.
Was it just tight?
It was tight, bro.
Okay, got you.
It was tight. Like I'm talking, if there was a couple months where I had no activity or not enough activity, then I'm in a res. And then I would have packed it in. I would have packed it in, because I was just like, why am I having a studio to not make money, to spend money, essentially?
Got you.
So it was just getting that first few months to break even and then kick on. And like, once you've got a client, you've got to impress them, keep them, and then hopefully a friend comes, and all of a sudden you're packed. So yeah, that was the biggest issue. And then the time, obviously, I'm working at them times. My son's not born yet.
Yeah.
But I'm working. No, he was just about born then, actually. But I'm working way into the night.
Damn.
Because musicians, as you know, they're
late
nocturnal creatures, man. Like I said, late night sessions.
Them creativity
hours.
And I
didn't have. So nowadays, if someone phones me for a session, for example, if someone phones me for a session today, even if I can do it, I probably won't do it.
Got you.
Because there's certain sessions that I can bat away. But them times, if you phone me, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready right now. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you need the piece.
So now, like, you kind of need to give a bit more notice, especially if you need me.
Got you.
But back then, it was just like I was working every minute I could work.
Yeah.
So it gave me, and this would have been like my first job really at the time.
Yeah, because by the sounds of it, you always kind of did your own thing.
I did my own thing. I was about. I'm here, there, and everywhere. I was a wheeler and dealer.
Yeah.
So like I was.
What's that guy? All your fools.
That's it. Del boy. That was me. So like I was. This is the first job I had where I knew it's a weird one, because even though I'm the boss, everyone's my boss when you think about it properly. You know, once like I'm
providing the service.
That's it.
So
that's it. So whilst you're in my session. Whilst I'm in your session, essentially, I'm your engineer. Like, I kind of got to do whatever it is you want me to do.
You need,
essentially, innit? Like, even though you work for yourself, you work for everyone.
Got you. And would you say that that being the hardest bit, would you say that that's something that you could have changed if you did it again? Because by the sounds of it, I don't think you could have really anticipated that.
I mean, there was other difficulties. I mean, that's the first. That was like the first
main one.
year, yeah. And then that building got bought by somebody. They was going to turn it into commercial flats. So we got given 30 days notice. You got to be out of there.
30 days.
30 days notice. So now we're scrounging around trying to find places. But the problem is with putting studios in places is that a lot of commercial buildings don't like studios because it's noise pollution and it's people pollution. They would prefer it if you're just an office, e-commerce.
9 to 5.
9 to 5. You just, no
weekends.
None of this nocturnal stuff. Hella man.
I know what you mean.
Noise, like concerned neighbours, all of that. So finding a spot was difficult. I ended up going to Acton. And building a studio in there, and it weren't great, if I'm totally honest. But people was coming with me because of what I'd already done in that first year. You
built that brand for yourself.
I was out of there within 6 months. That place got flooded, and it was good because it voided my contract. And then I was back in Grove where I wanted to be. I was in a building across the road from here, and that was where things really kicked on. Like once we was in there, we started really getting to work on, and that's when visual podcasts started to come out. So you started filming podcasts and stuff like that, and that was where like that there was a certain room I had. It was the only room I had, to be fair, but it was packed. Like because it's only one studio. I had podcasters jostling with rappers, jostling with singers, jostling with brands for the same room because there's only one room.
Everyone needs the
time. Everyone needs the time. But it was good because it meant that I was in there from 10 a.m. till midnight every day working. So it's money coming in, but my new issue was that I was working so many hours. So it was good, and I needed to do it. It taught me a lot. Balance was mad.
Work-life balance, for real. And I thought that's key because people always kind of say, I want to do my own thing. I don't want to work for someone else. I need more of a work-life balance. But doing your own thing, it requires your time, bro. Like you're going to have to be there.
That's the thing. Like I almost envy people that can just work from a laptop anywhere. Cool. Like you might be on a wage where like that's your wage. That's you. You can't do more than that. But the level of freedom you get, I know you still have to work, but being able, like I know people that during lockdown and that, just like I'm out of it, man. I'm flying to South Africa. I'll work from the beach.
I know bare people.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's loads of people that are just able to work remotely. Just go. All of my work, pretty much all of it, actually requires my presence.
Your presence to be there.
To be there. So I need to. That's what I'm trying to work out now. How to work without working.
That's a big. I'm very glad. That's a big tip for up and coming entrepreneurs. You know, 'cause I feel as if people have this misconception that I start a business, I'm just gonna start it. It's gonna be running, and I don't have to do anything. You know what I'm saying? But you've made it clear that your hand has to kind of still be.
Have to be there
in it. You know?
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be, or be prepared to make a loss. Like that's. It's different if you. All of my businesses or everything I do, essentially they are services, not products. If I was selling a product, fine, I can be anywhere. I can have anyone sell this product, e-commerce, whatever it is, send it, blah blah blah. That's fine. That's fine. That's actually perfect, and that's what I'm looking at now. I'm trying to work out where can I get involved there so that I can be anywhere, and it relieves a bit of the pressure. But as it stands, if I am on holiday, the only place I can make money is here.
Got you.
Is because I'll have people in sessions with other engineers or whatever it is. But it's not that. It's like it don't make enough for me to be like, I'm gone for 6 months or I'm gone for 3 months. I'll probably come back at a loss.
I hear that.
So like I'm very aware that everything I do actually requires me to be there.
And for people who, let's say, I don't know, somebody wants to start a business tomorrow. Let's say someone wants to start a podcast studio, any sort of music studio. What's your biggest piece of advice, would you say, from what you've been through?
Have enough bread. Know where you're putting it and know your competition.
Okay.
I was kind of okay at the time because there was less competition. And like commercial rent prices were not what they are now.
I hear that.
Like you start this now, and unless you've got a pretty big pot of money to kind of like see you through that first 6 months, chances are you'll make a loss.
Got you.
Unless you've already got your, like if I started that studio without having done it from my bedroom, and I just thought, I woke up one day, just like, I want to start a studio. But I had no background, not one client.
No client, nothing.
I wouldn't have survived it.
See.
I would not have survived it. So like you need some kind of grounding, some kind of base. Also, I was the engineer and the producer. Like you can't just decide you want to open a studio and you don't have the skills to run it yourself.
To run it.
I was the man in there.
So you know how everything works already.
Exactly. It's my job. Like I'm actually mixing these tunes.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was trying to do it and be like, oh, I'm going to put an engineer in there, I wouldn't have made a penny.
Got you.
I wouldn't have made a penny.
Got you.
So like know your market, know that you bring value to the company.
Mad. No, I love for that, man. And on the topic of competition now, so let's say you're aware there's loads of other studios opening up. Some of them aren't that far. I know one that's literally like 3 minutes away, bro. Walking distance. So how do you separate your business brand from the others?
Do you know what? I've been super lazy and complacent.
Okay.
Yeah. Recently.
Yeah.
And I've probably lost a lot of business. I've probably allowed a lot of these things to pop up. And in my head, it's healthy. Competition's healthy. Blah 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 blah.
Toes.
But because of the whole Savage Dan brand and because my fingers are in different pies, I have not sat down and kicked on with the studio. This studio can make triple what it makes, but I haven't sat down and kicked on with it because I've had my head in boxing. I've had my head in, JD stuff and presenting and this, and I'm getting dragged from pillar to post. I haven't had time to sit here and work out what the plan is. Like you won't even see this studio being like promoted on my own stories. I've got enough followers to be able to drive traffic here. I've been so complacent with this place that I haven't even worked out how much money it makes at the moment.
Damn.
Because my money's all going into the same place. All the money is going into it's a one man company. So I haven't even zoomed out enough to be like, all right, cool. How has it performed for the last 6 months?
Review it. Or
exactly.
Whatever.
I haven't reviewed it. So literally, I put it in my notes like 2 days ago to be like, all right, cool. Between now and Christmas, I crack on with this. Like really, really crack on.
Proper.
And like really get in people's faces and put it where it needs to be. I've allowed it to be what it is. And I allow for there to be some days where there's not much happening. And then for next days to be, but really, if I wanted to have this place packed, I could. And I'm not doing it, and I'm leaving a lot of money on the table, and I'm allowing a lot of other people to survive because of it. So I'm like this last quarter of the year.
He's allowing them to survive.
Yeah, what?
God, he's letting you lot live.
I get me. Like it's true. Like
he's giving you lot a chance.
I have not concentrated on the studio for ages. Like I'm barely here. Like I don't even really know what's happening in here. Once I've decided I'm turning my focus back here. Like this is the bread and butter. This is where it all began. There would be no Savage Dan if it wasn't for Jukebox Studios.
Got you.
So because of that, I'm turning my attention back to it. I'm gonna super up. I'm gonna get it exactly where, like even just things like the website. Like I'm very good at answering emails and being responsive and stuff like that. But like I'm talking the user experience,
the tech side of things,
the tech side, the SEO side, the promotion side. Like there's no TikTok, no Insta. Like there's not anything that makes people want to come here other than word of mouth and being here. When you come in here, you're like, oh shit, this is nice. But
that was my response.
But as in like I haven't done anything to make the world. Like, I haven't put it in a shop window because I have in my head. I'm like I haven't needed to. And my hands are in so many different places. But I'm back this quarter. I'm going for it.
I beg you say that to the camera.
This quarter, I'm souping up. Yeah,
come on,
I'm going for it.
My God, I appreciate that, man. So let's move from Jukebox. Let's talk about Boxer. Tell us a bit about Boxer.
It's a young company, man. It's it is. Do you know what? If I'm totally honest, it is becoming my like it's becoming something that I really enjoy as much as the music side. Like I've always loved getting back in the studio, but I love boxing, and now I love being on the other side of the ropes and doing the media stuff and all of that. And the CEO, the founder, Ben Shalom, reached out to me like years ago, before it was the boxer that it is now.
Okay. What, did they have like a rebrand or?
No, it was. Well, they did actually have a rebrand. It was called Ultimate Boxer.
Okay, cool.
Before, and it was like tournament shows, short form boxing, kind of made to entertain.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that's what boxer.
I used to watch their thing on that Nigerian guy who used to box.
Yeah, Mikhail Lawal.
Lawal, yeah.
So it's the same thing. So it was tournaments based, kind of fast format boxing, but it goes on your professional record.
Yeah.
So I got a call, basically wanted to do a podcast with Paulie Malignaggi.
Okay.
So I started a podcast with Paulie Malignaggi. It was called Mouthpiece. At the time, it wasn't Paulie actually. It was actually me and Ben Shalom.
Okay.
But it was with people that weren't boxers, but were people that liked boxing. So it would be like Jack Fincham. I think he was on The Only Way Is Essex, or he was on a Love Island. He was on. He was like, it's like celebrities,
like boxing fanatics, but they have a
They don't have a boxing career,
but
they want to get in the ring, or they've always been closely attached to boxing. And then it grew into something else where me and Paulie were on a podcast together, but we did that remotely. He would be in America. I would do it from one of my other studios.
Yeah, got you.
And then there was, during COVID, there was one of the tournaments. It was UB7, and it was like the height of things. And I got a last minute shout to be. Obviously, I was going to be involved, but to be one of the anchors on the show. So like, in the studio basically, like, you know, as a boxer correspondent, basically.
Right.
So it was, you know, that was my first time ever doing live TV.
Damn, man.
So they throw an earpiece in you, and I'm there like this, like.
And you didn't even apply for that or nothing.
No. As in, like, that was it. It came to me.
Mad, man.
And they trusted me, and they showed like a lot of like trust, because that can go wrong.
No, of course, bro.
But I've got that attitude where I'm just like, just throw me in there, and I'll
deal with it.
I'll deal with it. And if I flop, I'll flop.
Word.
But let's go for it. But I remember being rattled for like the first 10 minutes. I must have been looking at it was on ITV and BT Sport. And I remember like it was a strange one because it's COVID.
Yeah.
You have to be 2 meters apart from everyone.
Got you.
But we went with like a UFC kind of style broadcast where you're in squares, so they can't really tell where you are. Yeah, but imagine the person that's talking to me, the person I'm anchored with, is sitting where you're sitting.
But on the TV, it's just like square.
But on square. So I have to speak down the lens. Even though I'm speaking to you, I have to speak down the lens. So you're talking, and I have to ignore the fact that you're talking to me.
That's a lot.
I have to speak to this camera. Yes, Jeff. Like as in to speak as if you are the screen.
Isn't there like a screen that you're looking at that shows you the boxes?
You are, but if you look at the screen, you're not looking down the lens.
Okay,
so like it was so difficult. And at the same time, you've got people in the ear saying, "Damn, we're coming to you in 5, 4, 3, 2." And I'm just like, for the first 10 minutes, I was just a little bit like a deer in the headlights. You probably won't have told you but I felt it. And I think when we went to a break, I said, "Can you turn off feedback? Like turn off. I don't want to hear everyone. I just want to hear what I have to hear.
What you need to hear.
And let me and then I grew into it. And it was a good tournament. Zach Chelly won that tournament. And you know, that was like the beginning of Boxer. Of my journey,
of your journey
with Boxer in that capacity.
Yeah. So Boxer, they do boxing promotions, right? Yeah. So I did some research, and it said that the boxing promotion industry is worth $438.6 million, right? Does that sound about right to you?
Nah. More? Per what?
The industry as a whole is what they said. The promotion industry is what it said.
Is there a time on that per annum, or is there?
It said it was 2021.
Okay, okay, so that makes about
so that's what it made. And what I wanted to understand, what I want other people to get as well, because we're all on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. We see these boxers step up and say, "I'll fight you for this amount. There was a contract for this amount." How accurate are those figures that we hear online or read about, would you say?
When you say how accurate are they? I mean, like, for example, purses are, I'm not sure if they're open to the public, but you could, if you do a bit of digging, you can find fight purses.
Okay.
Obviously, if your fight purse is £1 million, as a fighter, you don't see that whole million. That's just you've got everything has to come out of that on your side.
Everything like what? Sorry.
So you might have lawyers that might have to come out of that.
Cool.
The boxing industry is essentially run by lawyers. There are so many contracts, and there are contracts that are almost designed in ways to trip you up. And there's so many things that can happen in the build up to a fight that can make the fight not go ahead, or can change the dynamics of it, like an injury, an illness, anything that will stop someone fighting, change of venue, the death of the queen. You know, like there's so many things that can happen that can call a fight off, and there's big money involved. So you have to get these contracts kind of watertight and have different stipulations depending on what happens. So you're going to have to pay a good lawyer
to do that.
And a good one. Otherwise you're going to get tripped up.
Damn.
Your camp obviously has to come out of that. So if you want to go and train in Big Bear, California, that comes out of your purse. Like no one's going to pay for you to do that. All of that. Your trainer, cut man, team, nutritionist, whatever it is, tax. If there's a sanctioning fee, you know, there's loads of things that come out of it.
Damn,
loads. You know, you pay your promoter or your promoter's the company. So there's a lot that comes out of that total number, unless you've got, you know, there's no two contracts that are the same. Unless you've got a contract that says otherwise. Those are the terms, kind of thing. A lot of that money goes into everything that you've put into that camp, and everyone that's been there with you, and management and promoters and all of that. So
would you say there's a rough, even if it was a percentage, what percentage would you say the boxer actually sees then?
What percentage have you heard?
I actually haven't looked into it.
Chances are,
because it just seems like a lot of costs.
There's a lot of
loads of costs,
you know. And then obviously when your tax is transparent,
that as well as I need to
tax
see,
comes
even
out.
that we didn't even.
So this is what I mean. Like you're probably looking at 40% of a total fight purse.
Got you.
Is what you'd end up with, depending on what you might have a manager that takes nothing.
Yeah, because everyone has their different terms to their.
And you might have a manager that takes 15%. You might have a manager that takes 10 or 20. Taxman's obviously going to come and take 30 plus. Or depending on where you are in your career, I'm just talking about £1 million.
Yeah, no, of course,
you know that there's loads of percentages flying. Some people will just be flat fees. You might pay someone $10,000 to do your nutrition for however long. It depends on the stage of the fighter. You know, like at British title, when you're getting, you know, if it's not a huge fight, you might get $20,000 for it. But if you're going up to the millions, you're probably talking about 40, 50, like 50%. I think you've done well. If you can get 50% of your fight purse, you've done well.
Then you're good. Yeah. And I always wonder, another thing is that the prices they put on these fights, where do they come from? Who decides on, right, those two are fighting, it's worth this?
Well, it depends on, remember there's so many, like Boxer have Sky Sports as the broadcaster.
Yeah, of course.
The biggest broadcaster you can have. Yeah. There are so many promoters that don't have any broadcaster, and they have small hall shows. Okay. So the value of a fight will definitely change depending on where this fight is. Now, if it's at a leisure centre, every Saturday there'll be 20, and it's a lot. It's like you laugh, but I'm saying the majority of fights are at leisure centres or at like venues.
If you ever walk down that there, Bethnal Green on like a Saturday,
that's it. York Hall's
right there.
But that's a prestigious place. But I'm saying the majority of them are not. You're not going to see them on TV. You might have somebody filming for YouTube, but the vast majority of boxing fights will not be broadcast on TV. Damn. In the UK, we've got DAZN, Sky Sports, BT Sport, and the others that might pop in and out. Channel 5.
Those are the main.
Channel 5 and ITV might pop in or whatever it is. But you're looking at that's the three that you're looking at. There's hundreds of fighters in this country, hundreds and hundreds. Most of them are not on TV, obviously. So those fights are obviously worth far less.
Of course,
and those fights are worth pretty much as many tickets as you can sell. Yeah. So for the most part, you see boxers selling tickets themselves. And even on the day of a fight, might be traveling here and there just to get the last, because the tickets, the tickets are that's your income. How much tickets can you sell? That's why it's worth so much. The next stage is obviously how many viewers can you bring if it is a broadcast. How many people care that you're fighting and want to see you fight? There are top fighters that have big fans, and then there's top fights that bring big fans.
Got you.
It's two different things.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
There's a difference between
it doesn't matter who Anthony Joshua fights, everyone's going to watch.
It's going to go because of his brand.
Whereas
himself.
there will be someone else that will never have the pull of Anthony Joshua. Yeah. But if they're in a big fight, if you give them the right dance partner and promote it right, it's a huge fight. So that's the difference. You get pay-per-view fighters and then you get pay-per-view fights.
And I notice what you're saying. I noticed with the build-up for this Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. fight, because of who their dads were as well, they're kind of using that as like a promotional foundation.
Of course, like you can turn it, like boxing, like you love. There's so many stories in it. Yeah. But when you can get one that grips 2 generations, of course you can sell it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Of course, that's facts, because literally I was in the living room. It came on Sky Sports. My dad
it didn't
was
come
like,
on Sky Sports, did it?
No, the advert or whatever channel it was. It was on TV. Yeah. And my dad looked at it. He was like, "Oh, isn't that so and so's son?" And I was just like, "Son." And I looked and I was just like, "Oh yeah." So he was saying he used to watch their dad's box. Yeah. And I'm watching now their son's boxing. Yeah. So it brings together that.
So there's some connection. So stories, like you sell a story essentially, especially when it's pay-per-view. You've got to drum it home because pay-per-view means that this fight is costing you a lot more than a normal fight would be. It's just how the money in boxing works. Like, but you've got to bank on getting a certain amount of buyers, which means you've got weeks. You got to have a few weeks to drum it home. And make sure that by the time we get to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, people want to see this fight.
See it. Yeah,
you need enough spite in the build up. Maybe a push or a shove at a weigh-in would help it. That kind of stuff helps sell a fight.
And the sort of pot of money for the viewers, let's just call it that. Let's say the tickets sold, physical tickets, let's say. Yeah. And let's say the box office, I've bought it online or on my TV or whatever. Is that the same sort of money pot, or are those two different pots of income for the
I think it depends on that contract. So pay-per-view, people will get a guarantee. Yeah. So
got you.
Let's just call it 1 million each.
Okay. Cool.
That might be your guarantee.
Yeah.
I'm saying this presuming that both fighters have equal pool, equal followers,
reach,
equal everything.
Whatever,
like they get a mil each, and this is a 50-50 fight. There might then be upside. Yeah. So for example, once we get past a certain amount of pay-per-view buys, you now get a cut in.
Okay.
On those buys as well. It all depends on projections, what people are predicting, what people think they're worth. Yeah. Your previous purses, like for example, if you've been getting 500 grand for a fight and now you get offered 2 mil, just take the 2 mil kind of thing.
2 mil, it's up from where you were last time.
It's a huge up. Yeah, it's a huge up from where you were. Whereas if you're used to, it depends where your career's at as well. If your last fight, yes, you lost it, but you got 5 mil for it. In your head, you are worth more than the 1 mil you're getting offered. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's just it's a strange one. Like you kind of play it by ear and you negotiate and you get whatever you agree on, man.
Yeah, no, I got you. And in your time of either working with boxer or just watching boxing, what's the best fight promotion you've seen? From the interviews, from the advertising, the gloves are off if they did it, everything. What would you say is the best promo you've seen for a boxing
I might say Groves versus Froch. That was huge. Okay. For number 1 and number 2, they couldn't stand each other. That was good. But do you know the one that I would say maybe gripped me more than any of them? It might have been David Haye, Derek Chisora. Because it started almost by accident. Yeah. Derek Chisora is turned up at the
press conference.
Yeah,
I remember this.
And then they had the bottling, or he glassed him.
Yeah.
Derek Chisora saying, "I'm going to shoot David Haye."
I nearly felt like a bit that was acted,
It was so crazy. Yeah. It weren't acting, of course, but it was so crazy that
you
I felt
had to
like
think,
wrestling.
is this real? Like,
and then they had to have, like, when they were doing the build-up, they had to have a cage between them. Because they weren't willing to wait to fight. Like, they would fight anywhere. At on a press conference, it was on site for ages. But because of it, the anticipation, I remember the anticipation, for me, that was huge.
Damn.
Obviously, the biggest for me ever, you're looking at Mayweather Pacquiao.
Okay.
That was huge.
Okay.
Huge.
Yeah,
I think that's the highest grossing ever fight.
That's actually the first boxing fight I stayed up for.
No way.
First one I ever actually stayed up and watched.
Yeah.
It's also the first one I ever paid for on box office.
Yeah.
You know? So, that was actually a big fight. What makes a big fight for you? Is it the net?
If we're going pay-per-view, this is the rules that our head of boxing, John Wish, said, and it just stuck with me. You need to know who the two people are.
Okay.
The public need to know who the two people are.
Yeah, cool.
And they need to not know who's going to win.
Damn.
And you got a pay-per-view fight.
Simple, boy.
You got a pay-per-view fight. That's it.
Crazy.
That's it. The thing is that makes it pay-per-view. That makes it huge in my opinion.
It builds anticipation.
I'm somebody that will watch any fight.
Yeah.
And I'll watch every fight and I get excited for 50-50 fights, even if nobody knows who they are. But for the public, for the most part.
Because you love the sport as well, though. So
but for the public, you need to drum it home. They need to have seen this person on I'm a Celebrity, or they need to know at least one of them.
At least one of them,
to be able to drive this home. So for pay-per-view is tough, man. That's why there's not that many pay-per-view fights per year.
Yeah. Nah, got you. Okay. And let's cross over into this new YouTube boxing fights and promotion as well. What's your view on that? Do you feel as if that could ever be consistently on the same level as your normal professional boxing?
See, the thing is, it's like a different sport.
That's why I use the word consistently, because I feel like there might be one.
You can do it. You can. Look, think about it. A lot more people will know YouTubers than they will certain boxers. You can't tell me who the British champion. You don't know who the British champion is at 154, but you'll know who the flipping YouTuber who yesterday did a prank on
comedy video,
exactly.
Or whatever.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's a new generation whereby everyone's on their phones all the time, and you see what's on what's there. I think there's a genuine space for it now. And when it first came out, I was like everyone else. I turned my nose up at it. I thought it was a bit stupid. How dare they get this amount of money for this when these lot are getting far less, and they've dedicated their lives to it. But to a certain degree, the boxers, it's hard, but you got to kind of take a leaf out of their book. Like, they've done a good job at promoting themselves. Maybe they weren't a boxer, but they have been everywhere. Like, they have been on our screens for ages. So now when they come to fight, of course they're getting big money. I went to the KSI fight the other day, but it was packed. That sold out in minutes.
Damn.
People there with their parents, and I'm there, and I don't have a clue who half these people are getting in the ring, getting big money to fight.
Crazy.
But there's a space for it. Of course, there's a space for it, because where there's popularity and we're humans, so like we have this thing where I think we can always watch anyone fight. Even if someone just starts fighting outside on the road, I'm probably not going to get in my car and drive off. I'm going to wait and see what the conclusion is.
I know what you're saying.
So I think there's a certain element of like, cool, YouTube golf, as in YouTube is playing golf, no one watches it. But YouTube is fighting, there's space for it.
There's a different adrenaline that gives you that, bro. I was in the barbershop the other day. These two brothers started fighting on across the road. Everyone, including me, with the thing around my, you get me? I was outside like, yo, what's going on? So I hear exactly what you're saying. And do you feel as if, well, of course, I don't know if you've spoken to any of them, or do you feel as if people in the professional boxing industry, away from YouTube, are kind of looking at that like, what the hell are these lot doing, sort of thing? I know you mentioned a leaf possibly being taken out of their book. Do you think that people are actually learning from?
I think they're learning. I think everyone. I think my mindset towards it is changing at the same pace as everyone else's.
Got you.
Everyone was quite I wouldn't say against it, but was a little bit like, wow, this is a bit silly. Hopefully it only happens once or twice and they pack it in. But it looks like it's got legs, and now people are coming around to the idea of it. And the YouTubers as well. Let's be honest. They are dedicating themselves to the sport. Like, they're going for it. Like, they're having 10-week camps, and they're getting fit, they're getting in the ring in front of, hundreds of thousands of people watching, or millions of people, depending on who you are. Like, people are like, they're taking it seriously. So, and they're getting paid well. So I think, I personally would like to see, yes, it's quite gimmicky. And we know that as soon as you put any of these YouTubers in with a Canelo, like we know, like it's a foregone conclusion.
It's a beating.
But
not even a fight. It's a beating.
it brings eyes to the sport. If you could find a way to integrate it into your real boxing as well.
Yeah.
Like, I would quite like to see that. Like, you could have a YouTube fight on a normal bill, and that's gonna pack out a stadium. Like, even if you get two, it's just hard because you've got a world championship fight that should be top of the bill, but you've got YouTubers and everyone knows these lot more than the world championship fighters, and they pack out the arena. So it's a tough one. It's tough.
It's crazy you say that because I remember going to Principality Stadium in Cardiff when Joshua was supposed to fight Pulev,
and he fought
Takam instead, and my boy was fighting on the undercard, and I was there with my peoples because my brethren's on the undercard. I'm here to support my boy. But even the way you just said that, if you had, I don't know, KSI fighting someone on the undercard, it packs out the stadium sooner.
You get
like,
all
exactly. That would be mad still when now that you put it like that. So that's another idea, man. No, cool, man. I appreciate your insight on that, man. So let's go back to you doing what you love, yeah? You've made it clear today that everything you do what you love. It's things that you have a passion for and stuff like that. So in you doing that, would you do what you don't love for double the money, let's say?
It depends how much I hate it.
Okay.
The thing is, for double the money I'm making now.
Yeah. Let's say whatever you made last year, double to do what you don't like.
Do what I don't like or do something I don't love.
Do something you can't stand doing. Not motivated to get up in the morning. You're not excited for it. You go home annoyed every day.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that.
Nah.
I don't think I could go home annoyed every day. But the thing is, look, money talks.
I hear that.
Money talks, and there's been plenty of times where I haven't wanted to do something, and then they just throw a bit more at me for it.
What's your price?
And I'm just like, all right, cool.
One of them, I'll do it if you man.
Yeah.
If you man pay me.
That's it.
No, I'll do it if you man do it. I'll do it if you man pay me.
Exactly. So obviously money talks. And it all, like, everything depends on how much you can stand it and what the costs are. So at the moment, my costs for living, for working in all the things I want to do, the costs are time because I have to be present.
Yeah.
The cost, I suppose, caring is a bit of a cost. Like, my job don't really turn off.
Okay.
So, like, where somebody might work the job they don't like, but they're only doing it 9 to 5, and once it gets to 5 o'clock, they switch off. That they're back in the room. I'm never offline. I'm never out of the mix. Like, I'm there. That's it. Someone will phone me at 11 p.m. Someone will phone me at 1 a.m. Someone, like, that's it. Like, I'm working every minute of the day.
Yeah.
So there is that's the cost to it. If I felt like I could stand it, I would 100% for double the money.
You firm it. Got you.
I'm resilient enough to do it, I reckon. I'm not sure if I can do it for long.
Yeah.
but I can nick it for a couple years. That's it.
I'm essing out.
That's it.
Yeah, I hear you. And I guess this comes to, like, I know a lot of people talk about, and we just said money talks. A lot of people say, oh, don't focus on money when you do things. Focus on what you're doing. How much do you really agree with that statement?
I think there's a balance.
Okay.
I think there's a balance. Like, even if you do the things you love, like, I work in the things I love, but ask me if they jar me every day. And of course, I'll tell you they jar me every day. Still, because as even footballers, like, it's the best job in the world if you're totally honest.
Yeah.
But
there's still bits that
they get sick and tired of waking up and going training every day.
It's true.
And, you know, like, playing away at Stoke and playing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they would much rather certain days be on a beach, but they know that they've only got a few weeks in a year where they can actually take that leave. You know, so it's mad. Like, as soon as you start doing something as a job, the fun does begin to seep out of it. But
I hear you.
Like, as long as you're doing something you love, you'll last forever, innit?
Yeah, I hear that.
I would say the money's important, though, man. It is important.
I fully agree. Personally,
the money is important.
There's no other way for that for me, really. You know?
It has to be because, like, look at we're in a cost of living
crisis.
Money's important. They're tripling energy bills. Like, October 1st,
and the man's gonna say, "Nah, money's not that important." What do you mean?
It's important. It's super important.
So, what advice would you give to, let's say, a young person? Let's say you were once upon a time 19, looking to, you know, starting your own thing. Someone's 19, they're thinking, well, I want to go into business, I want to do something. What advice would you give?
Know your market. Know yourself, know how far you can go. Like, I know I can dig my heels in and go for it.
Yeah.
Some people actually can't, and some like
it's
not for everyone.
No,
it's not for everyone.
that's facts. That's what it is.
And if you can't, then work out where that breaking point is. I've seen plenty of people try stuff and lose a lot of money doing it. And just don't like you see that voice in your head. You've got to listen to that one more than you listen to everyone else, because there will be plenty of people who can't see your vision. And plenty of people who like. There's been people that's come to me with ideas. I was just like, I don't think it'll work. But it's not because it won't work. It's just I can't see it. I can't see what you see. This is your baby.
Your perspective.
This is yours. You know what I'm saying? Like,
word.
Like take my words not as a like a hindrance, but like you just as a caution. You know what I'm saying? Like when people are saying, "Oh, don't open a studio because there's bare competition," doesn't mean don't open a studio. It just means take that. Like have that as well.
Yeah.
So I think just listen to yourself, trust yourself, and if it goes wrong, and if you like. It's like what's the worst that can happen?
Well, this is it. You win some, you lose some.
That's it.
Man. It's simple as that. Nah, bro, listen, I appreciate your time today, man. Do you have anything we should watch out for? Anything you want to let us know? Or...
Hopefully we get Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields back on October 15th. Listen, buy up. We got big events coming this year. If you're into boxing, hit us up.
That's your man.
Boxer.com, buy the tickets. It's a vibe, man. I say to everyone, like anyone who hasn't been to boxing, you've got to go.
Like, it's a full on vibe, you know. My first was a York Call fight. It was one of my boys' fights at York Call. I couldn't believe that.
Atmosphere.
I was like, yo, I thought football matches were lit. This is different.
Yeah.
Very different.
It's crazy.
So I fully second that, man. Nah, I love for that, my bro, man.
Love, bro.
My people, you've been locked in once again into the Money Ties podcast with your boy Clarence K. CK Talks Money. And my man Savage Dan over here. Love for listening in. Watch out for more content. Peace.